Well, you may be just enjoying the weather this Labor Day, but it's a different story in parts of Pennsylvania as severe weather moves through the region. Welcome to Weather Center. I'm Lisa Moser. We have a look at the rest of the country with you in just a moment, but for the latest on the severe conditions, let's join Jim Cantori in the Forecast Center. Jim?
Thank you very much, Lisa. Just got a report out of the Storm Prediction Center on what they're watching within the Weather Watch, and it's kind of interesting as they talk about the line of thunderstorms moving east at about 40 to 50 knots. Also the potential for 60 to 70 knot winds and hail up to 2 1/4 inches in diameter, which we had in Muncie and Lycoming County. So some big problems there. Also new reports out of Middletown, Pennsylvania of 67-mile-per-hour winds. So very important that you watch this because there's no reason why it shouldn't continue to move east and affect parts of New Jersey today and also the tri-state area. And if you're at the U.S. Open today or planning on heading there this afternoon, this is something you definitely need to keep in mind. Well, let me go ahead and show you what's happened so far as we take you into the Northeast. Now, notice reports of hail and wind all the way from Michigan across New England. We had what we call in meteorology a derecho develop last night, and that pushed through Syracuse, New York. 2 people unfortunately lost their lives. 13 others in the area were injured, and we even had reports of a 75-mile-per-hour gust at the Syracuse airport, and there were tornado warnings out before this event moved through. But at 1 o'clock in the morning, of course, there's not a lot of folks that are going to be up paying attention. This is unfortunate that this happened last night. Now, we did have some problems in New England as well. This derecho developed and pushed on off to the east. And let's go ahead and take you into Hampton, New Hampshire, where you can see where they had the problems last night. Some big problems there indeed. This is just south of Portsmouth, by the way. Severe weather uprooting trees and power lines. Homes in the area also damaged, and the storms that produced this damage also blew through Salem, New Hampshire, which is off toward the southwest, creating some of the same images. Now, all of that is well offshore right now. The big question is, what's next? And you can just see it on the corner of your screen there, getting ready to move into Scranton, Pennsylvania. That's the northern part of this next line or squall line or bow echo, which is heading on off toward the east. Now, the good news for New England is, as long as we have this, what we call stratiform rains, which is basically just rain, in all honesty, we're going to keep the lower layers of the atmosphere stable. And that is very, very good news. However, there's a lot of sunshine right now in coastal Connecticut all the way to the Cape, that this area is just getting primed for probably the northern part of this squall line to come through this afternoon. There should be no reason at all this shouldn't just continue to march on off toward the east. Now, you'll notice we do have a weather watch out encompassing Monticello all the way down through Sussex County, New Jersey, and down through Philadelphia as well. Now, that's going to probably be extended east without too much of a problem because of the speed of this thing. I mean, 40 to 50 knots, it's moving right along. And unfortunately, it's out ahead of this cold front. But by tonight, this cold front will be offshore, and our severe weather threat will have diminished. But until we get there, looks like it's going to be a long afternoon. Now, look at the size of this line of thunderstorms going all the way from southern Pennsylvania up to the New York State line. That's a huge area of real estate, and you'll notice the top part of this is bowed in a little bit where the mid-level core winds is punching on through, and that's, of course, creating that bow, and that's why we've had some of these wind gusts around Mecklenburg and also Middletown up to as much as, or excuse me, Mechanicsburg, 67 miles an hour. Middletown recorded a 67-mile-per-hour gust as well, and that's what's going to be the main problem as we work our way through this afternoon. Let's go ahead and give you a kind of a closer view. We'll give you the tri-state area. You know what's going on now in Flushing. We got the U.S. Open going on, and that's going to be a big problem as this line moves through this afternoon. So if you're watching the Weather Channel and if you're one of the administrators up there, please, I urge you to watch this line because it is going to produce damaging winds, probably some power lines down, and of course there's a good chance at hail. We also had 2 1/4 inch diameter hail reported around Muncie, Pennsylvania earlier on this afternoon. Again, Scranton, you're under the gun right now. Allentown, you still got a little while to go. Harrisburg is getting it as we speak, and there should be no reason, as I mentioned, that this whole area moves to the east. Now, Baltimore, keep an eye on it because right now it looks like the worst weather is off to your north. The air just not unstable enough yet, but as this line continues to move to the east, we could see some of these storms build to the south. So certainly Dover and Atlantic City will eventually have a threat here, no doubt about it. Up to the north, again, Syracuse, you're out of the woods, but you do have some rain off to the south and moving through the Mohawk Valley. Here's the cold front here. It's almost stretching east-west, actually, instead of north and south. So right now, along the southeast coast, you are under the threat for severe weather as we work our way through this afternoon. It's a fine day, but don't be fooled. The speed of this thing at 40 to 60 miles an hour is going to get it to the Jersey Shore very quickly. It's Labor Day, and a lot of folks are out just having a ball and pretty much are unbeknownst to what's going on in the weather But if, again, you're watching us and keeping an eye on things for the Jersey Shore, Long Island, the tri-state area, even down into Delaware, this is a very serious line of thunderstorms which is producing 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds, and there's no reason why it shouldn't continue to do so. Stay with us. We'll keep you posted on this line, but for more weather information, we've got weather.com on your home PC, and certainly you can get to that in a big hurry. It's hot out there. It's Labor Day. Let's find out what's going on with the heat, as well as into the Gulf of Mexico. Here's Lisa Mosier.
Thanks. Jim Cantori continues to keep us updated this afternoon as that severe weather does develop in the northeast area. Some of you in the southeast might be spending your holiday Monday in the rainy sky condition that we're currently experiencing around southern Louisiana. The central plains, well, the temperatures continue to be a problem because we're baking. A cold front will be bringing in some cooler weather. That's the same front that's bringing the severe conditions to the northeast. Let's go first to New Orleans, all the way back to the Lafayette area where we have cloudy skies. Up under the clouds, we're looking at rain, and the rain was on and off in this area yesterday. We added up to about 1/4 of an inch, so we expect a little bit more than that for today. This is a little bit of that tropical wave that we've been talking about in the Gulf of Mexico, as well as a very strong easterly flow thanks to our high pressure that's a little further to the north. You'll notice that boating is going to be a problem because already we're seeing thunderstorms pop up, and it's early in the day. We'll look for additional showers and thunderstorms a little bit later on this afternoon. More of the thunderstorms are expected to develop, but it's wet along Interstate 10. If you're traveling, say, from Gulfport, Mississippi, going into New Orleans, be prepared for a little bit of a slower ride. High pressure across the Carolinas, very nice conditions across much of the southeast, with the exception down here near the Gulf. Let's look at the temperatures. They're warming up already in Little Rock, 91 degrees. In Oklahoma, it's 93. Gulf moisture, well, not only in New Orleans and the panhandle of Florida, but also down towards the Brownsville vicinity, where we are looking at this very broad area of tropical moisture. It's a lower area of pressure, could possibly become a low pressure center. We'll continue to monitor the situation, and we'll tell you more during the tropical weather update. That's at 10 minutes till the top of the hour. Here's the frontal boundary pushing that nasty weather to the northeast, but behind it some cooler temperatures feeling a lot like fall in around International Falls, where it's currently only 60 degrees. Marquette 61, 72 in Chicago, and the skies are clearing. We have a lot of residual moisture out here in the intermountainous regions of the Rockies, and we may see additional thunderstorms here, cause some localized flooding. Look for those thunderstorms to really pop up later this afternoon. We are already seeing some rain tracking in southern Utah, and you may recall yesterday we did have some problems with some flooding in the southern parts of Utah. We're looking at the forecast right now. Again, the possibility of this becoming a low pressure center, certainly some concern. We'll continue to monitor this situation. Slow development is expected, if any. We will continue to watch the frontal boundary push a little further to the south, bringing the cooler temperatures across the Corn Belt overnight tonight. Heavy rain and the thunderstorms will continue to be a threat this afternoon from Washington, D.C. all the way to Boston. Stay tuned here to the Weather Channel. Not only will we tell you about the thunderstorms in the northeast, but the heat that is a problem for many folks in Texas this afternoon. We'll be back. Your local forecast is next.
This program was sponsored by 1010-321. New number.
Thank you for joining us. It's 10 minutes till the top of the hour this Labor Day. Time for Storm Watch. I'm Lisa Moser. This edition of Storm Watch is brought to you by Honda Generators. At this time, we are looking at a line of thunderstorms in eastern Pennsylvania that are severe in nature. We'll continue to update you on that. But at this time, let's go to the tropical weather. We are looking at a couple of areas that have certainly been promising as far as tropical development. Right now, we're looking out towards Venezuela. This is a wave that is tracking to the west. The easterly wind will continue to push this along the shores of Venezuela. This afternoon we may see additional cloud cover and maybe even some rain showers. More of a threat, however, will be out towards the Gulf of Mexico. We've been looking at a couple of areas that are tropical in nature. One wave brought additional rain showers inland across parts of the southern, extreme southern areas of Texas and Old Mexico yesterday. Now we're looking at a very broad area of lower pressure. Not a low pressure center just yet, but it is expected to continue to develop, become more organized. We say that because the winds aloft are very favorable for the possibility of that development to occur. You'll notice that we've had rain showers much of this morning, as we did yesterday, like we did yesterday, on and off. Well, this too is all in association with this very broad area of lower pressure. Now, it's really hard to say where might the central area be located. Could possibly be a little further to the north, could possibly be a little bit further to the south. And certainly that's going to be of some concern, because any development this close to the north will give a little less time for preparation. However, with the area being a little further to the south, it will give more time for development. So either way, we may have some trouble to deal with. Of course, the possibility of that development could just all together fall apart. So it's still very early to tell, but certainly is of some concern. We're looking right now at the infrared satellite imagery. You'll notice that the cloud tops are quite cold in and along this cluster that's been holding together for the past day. You'll also notice that it does look like we're seeing some circulation out here towards the Bay of Campeche. You may recall it was just about a week ago that we were looking at that circulation that was Earl, that did in fact develop and originate out in this vicinity of the very warm waters of the Bay of Campeche. Out towards the Caribbean, we're looking at some convection that has been holding together, bringing some cloudy skies over towards Jamaica. We're also looking at a bit of cloudiness just to the north of the Dominican Republic, but an upper level low has been in this area, so this convection is not expected to continue to become more organized. This is the wave that will be coming in towards the extreme northern coastal areas of Venezuela. We have yet another wave out near the coastal waters of Africa. The continent of Africa, you'll notice, getting ready to produce yet another cluster of moisture to come off of the continent. This too could perhaps be a wave and hold together. So it's the peak of the season. Of course, any development has the stronger possibility for becoming more organized, as we are at a very favorable time of the year. Let's take a look back. We are looking now from September 1 to September the 10th. And today, by the way, is September the 7th, Labor Day. We're looking at about a little over 100 years, 126 storms. And look at the vast array of origin. So this lets you know that, yes, anywhere along the path from the Caribbean to the continent of Africa, we could possibly see a storm develop, become more organized. It is that time of the year. And to put it to you a little bit more clearly, just looking at this graph, you may recall a very quiet June and July. August, much more active, and yes, September certainly has traditionally been the peak season. And looking at this month alone, this continues to set the path, set the pace. Out towards the Pacific now, looking at a tropical depression. The forecast for Tropical Depression 11 looks like in the next 24 hours we will be looking at a stronger storm, possibly a tropical storm. Certainly right now it is moving kind of parallel along the Baja of California, and we hope that that will continue to be the possibility, perhaps even more westerly. However, let's note that there is the possibility that Tropical Depression 11 could take a more northerly route across the Baja, and of course that is of some concern at this time. We'll continue to watch the tropics as well as the weather back home. A line of severe thunderstorms causing many problems across eastern Pennsylvania.
After a night of dangerous storms in parts of the Midwest and Northeast, more rain, wind, and lightning is possible. The potential trouble spots next on Weather Center.
This program was sponsored by Honda Generators. Power when you really need it.
There are some people who prefer to be left in the